What's up, guys? So, what I want to talk to you about right now is a concept that we've probably heard a lot before asked, but we haven't thought about it in the way I'm going to describe it. People always ask us, where are you from? And if we ask ourselves, where are we from, we think of home. But that's not what I want to talk to you about, where we're geographically from or where we consider ourselves coming from in the physical sense. What I want to talk about is, where are we coming from internally? And I think it's an important question to ask yourself before you engage in an activity. Sort of like, why am I doing this? But beyond why am I doing this, like what are my goals, what are my motives? What state am I bringing into this activity? Because I think, and this is really, really important, activities in and of themselves are often neither good or bad. If they hurt other people or they clearly hurt ourselves, then yeah, sure, you can say they're unhealthy. And if they clearly help other people or help yourself, you can say they're healthy. But a lot of these lines get blurred depending on the intention we bring to the activity. Easy example, alcohol. You've probably heard before, don't drink when you're sad to feel better, but drink when you're celebrating to feel, even better kind of thing. Like, if alcohol is depressant, it's very severe drug in some cases, and if you come into an experience with alcohol in a positive frame of mind, from a good place inside, you're feeling happy, you're around friends, you're in a good state, chances are, unless you have a deep-seated issue that you haven't dealt with, you can have a good time. And sometimes there's people who go into alcohol as an escape. I'm here to get fucked up and forget my problems and run from them. And I'm not saying you can never do that. I'm not saying you have to be perfect. But obviously, if you had a habit of this behavior, your drinking would be an unhealthy thing. Whereas someone else who's managing their life well, and they drink for social purposes, but it doesn't interfere with their life, maybe alcohol is actually a healthy thing for them. It gets them out, gets them talking to people. It's improving the quality of their life. There are a lot of activities that can be either good or bad. I believe it was Einstein that said, there is nothing good or bad, but thinking makes it so. And what I'm trying to say here is that many activities in and of themselves are neither bad nor good, but the intention we bring to these activities can tell us a lot about whether we're using these activities in a healthy way or not. An example, again, is exercise. And this is one that should be healthy, right? Exercise is healthy. Well, if you're bringing an intention to exercise, that you have a good life and you feel complete, and you'd like to live that life longer and be healthier and perhaps like the way you look in the mirror better during that life, sure, exercise is healthy for you. But a lot of people might go into an exercise routine coming from an internal place of feeling not good enough, feeling insecure, feeling like they aren't fine the way they are, and feeling like they need to change to be acceptable to themselves and others. And this is an unhealthy place. When I say it, I'm sure it's obvious. But the thing is, it's true you can have success that way. I'm sure there are a lot of extremely fit people who have been motivated by deep-seated insecurity, fear, and a sense of not being enough. But the problem with that success is they never asked, probably, why am I doing this? Maybe they know they're doing it to feel better, but they never really realized that what they're doing isn't actually going to make them feel better. I read a book once that said, show me 8 millionaires and I'll show you 8 cabinets full of antidepressant drugs, and that's a sad statement that a lot of the people in our life, like in this world, who are motivated and very successful, it's like they're trying to become a success to fix a problem that needs to be fixed internally, and the success isn't going to fix the problem. Another issue, if you're a guy and you don't feel like you're good enough, or you're a girl and you don't feel like you're good enough socially, you don't feel like you're good enough to the opposite sex, you may try to foster those feelings that you are good enough by going out and getting a lot of experience, getting out and trying to convince yourself that the other sex likes you and that they do think you're good enough and that people perceive you as attractive by having a lot of partners. And the thing is, this is something that's very high school, but it continues throughout adult life because people don't realize, the problem is me. The problem is I don't think I'm good enough. I don't value myself the right way. And people can, put themselves at risk for disease. They can destroy relationships. They can do a lot of things that they can even just get into relationships that they never intended for, trying to fill a void in themselves, and then realize they've been very much distracted from their actual life purpose and the things they really want to do. And all these things can be very negative, and it comes from trying to use an activity such as dating, which can be totally healthy and fun, to fix a problem that the fix really needs to take place inside yourself. So what I'm kind of saying here is something that I've said for a while, which is generally, you shouldn't do things to make yourself happy. You should try to find the ways to be happy and then kind of do what you do. You know, like happiness, completeness, a feeling of belonging, a feeling of self-value, that is the attitude that you should take in to the activities that you do, not the attitude that you think the activities you're doing is going to create in you. And it's okay if this is a reciprocal thing. It's okay if you build momentum and you bring in a positive attitude and a good sense of self-worth to an activity, and then seeing results motivates you even further. What I'm saying is not okay is when you come in from an empty place and you try to fill that void up with artificial markers of success. You're gonna have to sit down and have a talk with yourself and rationalize these things out one way or another, because no amount of success is gonna fill that void that you're creating. And these voids, these lacks of self-worth, self-esteem, self-value, the thinking that we're not enough, it's not an external thing, it's created from within ourselves. It could have been dictated by our biology, by our environment, whatever. Everyone has a different thing that's kind of fucked them up in this life. But we're not all gonna have different things necessarily that fix us. We may have different things that kind of lead us onto the path where we can fix ourselves, but at the end of the day, you're gonna have to look within yourself and really be honest with yourself. Why am I doing what I do? Am I running from something? Am I trying to escape from something? Am I relaxing in a certain way right now, playing a game, or whether it's video games, whether it's an iPad game, whether it's whatever you're watching TV, like, why am I doing this? Am I doing this because I enjoy the recreation and I've deserved a point to relax and I'm proud of myself and I'm proud of what I've accomplished and I want to make sure I'm not putting too much pressure on myself and that I relax and have some enjoyment time? Because that's probably healthy. Or am I doing it to procrastinate, to put off doing the things that really matter to me, to distract me from other life problems? And if you ask yourself that question honestly, what you should do becomes pretty obvious. If your motives are good and you're doing it from a healthy place, keep on doing what you're doing, great, more power to you. But if when you ask yourself, why am I doing this, you realize, it's because I don't want to do what I really should do, and trying to get this activity or whatever it is to mask that I'm not doing what I should be doing, to distract from not doing what I should be doing, or to hopefully one day make me feel a way that I should already be feeling, that's when you might need to take a look and start looking inside, start doing some reading, some research, some self-development, some self-intrinsic analysis, and get on point with your shit, because you don't want to go out into the world empty looking for the world to fill you up. You want to go out into the world overflowing. You want to be full of joy, full of happiness, full of things that give you something positive to share. You don't want to be a void out there, like sucking things into you, trying to fill yourself up artificially. You don't have much to offer if you're not complete before you go out to give. And when we interact in this world, that's what we're doing. We're sharing our experience. And we want our experience that we share to be something of value. And if we don't value ourselves, then what value do we have to give to other people? So my advice today, take a look at your motives, ask yourself, why am I doing this? And ask yourself, what attitude am I taking into this activity? Where am I coming from internally, emotionally, spiritually, financially? All the aspects of your life weigh into the way we approach situations. And I think it's very important to take honest stock of those and just be aware, because that awareness will help you through the situations. If you're aware that maybe you're going out to drink, but you have a problem in your mind or something that you're dealing with on the back burner, just that little bit of awareness can help you tip off yourself, like, maybe I don't need to have this one, or maybe at this point I'm not having fun anymore, I should go home. I'm talking about alcohol because I think it's one people can relate to, but this can go for any number of things, just ask yourself, look at the activities in your day, look at what you do, look at how you spend your time, and just ask yourself, do I do this because it's an act of self-love? Do I do this because I find genuine enjoyment? Or I do this because I'm trying to convince myself I'm a way that I really wish I was already? And if it's the last one, start working not just on the outside. It's okay to do the habits of what someone would do who is the way you want to be, but start looking inside too and say, how do I start really fostering that genuine feeling of already being there? Because one of the greatest pieces of advice I've read, and I don't remember where it came from, but it said, don't try to live the life you want to live. Already be doing it. And that is really it. You can't look at success to make you happy. You can't look at completing goals to make you happy. Because once you reach the destination, you're like, oh fuck, like I'm still me. And now I need a new goal just to distract from the fact that I'm not happy with me. Live the way you want to live now, and then do what you're passionate about. Do what you feel. Do what your purpose is. Do the things that make you happy. But don't do them to make you happy. Do them because they increase your already existing happiness, if that makes sense. I almost kind of wish I didn't say do the things that make you happy, because what I'm really trying to say is do the things that happy you would do and figure out what those things are. Because so long as you're doing the things that make you happy, you're kind of admitting to yourself, I'm not happy. If I'm doing something to become happy, then I can't already be happy. And so long as my time is always invested in things that quote unquote make me happy, I'm always going to be coming from a place of unhappiness, unfulfillment, lack of purpose. But if I have my purpose, if I have my happiness, if I feel complete, then everything I'm doing is an expression of myself. It builds myself, and it helps me grow in the direction that I want to go. So check your motives and ask yourself where you're coming from. And best of luck in life.